What does collagen really do to our body?
The layer that gives that form to skin, 90%, the structural protein is collagen.
Do collagen supplements actually work for the skin?
They do. There's heavy evidence collagen is the most promising supplement for managing skin pigmentation. And for Indian skin, which ages with pigmentation. This is a big deal. It's going to help me with certain menopausal symptoms.
Wow.
Collagen can help improve cognitive health.
Even though my son's pediatrician said that use it every day.
We should talk a little bit about sunscreen, the type of sunscreen. So many products for skin available. That itself is a hard decision.
And the more products you put in, the higher the risk for carcinogenesis. Sunscreens are not meant to be absorbed. When they do that, they interact with multiple hormone receptors and create problems. It's great to have sunscreen, but it's not okay to have long-term harm in the name of skin protection. In 2026, the debate is not about do collagen supplements work. I've been prescribing it for close to, I think, 15, 18 years now.
Wow.
So dermatology-wise, solid data, solid evidence is already
I think
there.
15 years back, I probably didn't even hear about collagen. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure you were.
For sure, yeah.
But we're both really excited, Dr. Renita, to actually be discussing so much about collagen.
However,
Yeah, because I'm sure it's going to be a whole lot of learning for us, as it will be for everyone listening. But so let's just, because of course everyone's heard the word collagen everywhere, everyone's talking about it and probably using it in some form or the other. But for our audience, right, let's start with what does collagen really do to our body? Let's just set the foundation of everything about collagen that you think people should know before we even start discussing.
I think at a very simple level, you understand this as the scaffolding for the skin. And the scaffolding keeps getting built until the building itself is getting built. When somebody grows, the collagen production is also very high. The output is high because the stretch promotes more collagen stimulation, more collagen production. After the building is built, and then you start, the scaffolding kind of comes off naturally over a period of time. For some, we could talk about this, numerically, the 1% loss every decade, but actually post-menopause, post certain trauma, it can be much, much higher. Post-menopause, it can go up to 25-30%. So it depends upon what individuals go through post certain surgeries, post certain drugs, illnesses. Your breakdown can happen at multiple levels. But then if you think about it, it's basically the structure that helps hold the skin. Everything in the skin depends on the dermis, and dermis is full of collagen. The layer that gives that form to skin is almost 90%. The structural protein is collagen.
And since you mentioned menopause and certain trauma, give me some examples of what trauma would look like. Is that surgery or,
Let's take trauma as in trauma, smaller trauma, crash dieting. And then there is, forget about all of the big traumas. Let me throw something as chronic mental stress.
Yeah.
All of these, certain viral infections, all of these can be associated with the catabolic process in our body. And collagen is not the only thing that's getting burnt down here. The entire house is getting burnt down. Collagen also. But the bounce back of collagen is much lesser. For example, when somebody loses weight very rapidly, you would look at them and you tell them, you've lost weight. But you'll also tell them, but you look tired. That's typically collagen leaving the conversation, basically. So that's not something that's actively replenished after a certain point. After a certain point, we get to keep it. Diet, of course, plays a big role. But then when you talk about trauma, chronic stress, heavy sun exposure. There are twin studies where one twin is exposed to sun and the other isn't. And the collagen levels are so much lesser in the person who's exposed. So when you say trauma, all kinds of trauma. Sleep deprivation.
Yeah. So
That shows on the skin first.
yeah, of course.
That's very easy too.
But the point, the takeaway for me here is that the rebuilding of that is much slower.
It isn't, you have to mindfully rebuild. For example, even when someone's losing weight, you have to mindfully build muscle.
Correct.
Else you end up in sarcopenia, which is over and above whatever fat we've lost. The same thing as a phenomenon of aging also happens when people lose collagen over whatever period of time, over whatever reason, because of whatever reason. Yeah.
Understood.
So that 1% every year from mid-20s is
late
true?
20s. We as a population age a little slower than the Caucasian population where these numbers are coming from.
Right.
In general, for us, if you look at us, we are a population that ages with something called hypertrophic aging, where the skin basically sags, then becomes hollow. The hollowing is a lot Caucasian.
Right.
South Asians, we have a descent, the structural descent. People start looking a little more mature around the jawline. Your nasolabial start, the fat deposition, the fat distribution starts to shift down.
Got it.
So for us, the collagen loss on the face as such looks a little different, comes a little later. And we don't have Indian data to talk about that 1%, but by and large, no, not a lot of collagen is being produced actively after your 30s.
After your 30s.
Yeah. So maybe late 20s, if you are out and about, exposing yourself to sun a lot, then that would be an earlier age when you can start as a matter of rejuvenation or preventive rejuvenation. But 30s is when you should consider. See, the point again about are you going to take it in supplements? Are you going to take it in diet? That's a different conversation altogether. But do we need collagen? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Your skin looks like it's filled with collagen.
I've been ODing on it for a while now, so yes.
No, seriously, it does look like you've taken great care of it.
Yeah.
I guess it's a combination of few things. I think the anti-aging roadmap has to have a bunch of sleep, diet, physical exercise is coming up in a big way as a collagenogenic activity. So it helps create anti-aging in the skin as well.
Yes.
There are molecules, beautiful molecules called fibronectins, which go and help keep the collagen happy. So that is there. And then you also talk about a few procedures here and there. In dermatology, we're always talking about what do we do to induce collagen? Collagen induction, all our devices. So I guess I can give maybe about 40% of the credit to collagen, but I've also done stuff. So
it's a holistic approach. A holistic approach, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing only one thing right, which is the physical exercise part of it. It may be just 5%.
You're also doing sunscreen, I think.
Yeah.
So sunscreen prevents collagen breakdown. So whatever is not broken down is ours to keep.
Right. Okay, we'll come to that.
So for people, like you mentioned those twin studies, for people who are like really exposed to harsh sun, does sunscreen help?
Definitely. Sunscreen is one of the few real anti-aging interventions that we have found to work. It takes its own sweet time. This may be anywhere from about 1 to 4 years, depending upon which part of the world the studies are coming in from. Data in India is fairly limited, and India data we tend to index around whether a sunscreen works for a period of time, but we don't have any longitudinal data to say how much is the impact. However, we know that if you don't use a sunscreen, you pigment. So it's almost like if you don't do this, then what happens is clear. Because we have comparisons between people who use sunscreens and people who don't. But we don't have comparisons as yet about how long and the quantification of those benefits. That's an area of research I really love.
But how much of the skin aging is like genetics, and how much of it is
exposure
control? Yeah.
I call this the era of the exposome. Genetics plays a very, very big role. For example, if you're talking about factors like height, genetics plays a very important role. But even with height, if a child, let's take twins, and we were to not provide the same kind of nourishment or nutrition to one kid as compared to the other, the one that is malnourished will undergo stunting despite the fact they came in with a good set of genes. Both twins share the same genes, but then you have a external dietary factor that didn't allow one person to perform to potential.
Right.
That is a whole exposome concept. So earlier we used to think that everything is fixed, written. And now we know that maybe a lot more is in our control, and the number of factors that are being discovered as sleep contributes to aging, stress contributes to aging, sugar contributes to aging. Let's say we both are having coffee. Each of us has a different response even to the caffeine, for example.
Right.
Or let's say we take the same supplement. You could bloat, I wouldn't. We both are exposed, but we have different reactions.
Correct.
Then we talk about external exposome, which is common to all of us. All of us are suffering with, at least not in Bangalore as much, in Chennai, we're going through something called humid heat, where it contributes to skin aging as well. So that would be an external factor,
Correct.
but it's all of us are going through it. As compared to an external factor, that's a little different, right?
Okay.
Then we have an internal exposome, all our gut bacteria, right? All of this together are places in which we can play if we know the keys to unlock each of them. So that's the whole exposome concept. So you get given a blueprint, but how you create the future for each will depend a lot on how you engineer the exposome.
Yeah. You've built your brand chosen around the idea of exposome, right?
Yeah. So at this point, we probably are very deeply steeped in understanding how the different factors contribute to skin of color aging. And from there, we drive how the products should, product should be constructed and what kind of audience it will serve. Comes from the clinical background. Been decades plus in dermatology, close to 2 decades plus, and cumulatively the entire team, we come with 100 years plus of experience in dermatology and 1.5 lakh plus consultations. See, as a doctor, if I were to say, this is it, this is your gene, live with it, I don't think I'm helping anybody, serving anybody.
Yeah.
As a role, our journey itself to identify, okay, you have XYZ given to you in genetics, and here is the ABC things I'm going to give you. So it's always been an exposome play as a dermatologist. We just decided to crystallize it into certain factors. Interesting stuff would be, in the West, they really don't need to treat a condition called steroid damaged face, because nobody is doing skin bleaching, skin lightening with steroid creams or mercury creams.
Like
But we have that. This is a unique Indian exposome. And unless you really look at it from that lens, like, how come? When I used to present it internationally, they'd be like, what is this condition you're talking about? But then we created a specific serum for that because that was required for this population. So in a way, we've taken a lot of practical in-clinic thought process and crystallized them into products, have the blessings of the clinic community that helped us build these out. Even the requests come from there. So we find our NPD comes from the community rather than from a marketing brief. So that's been a very good place for us.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. You mentioned sugar. I'm very keen on knowing more about sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally love sugar.
Me too. Me too.
But for the audience, very important to understand, how does sugar hurt collagen?
Sugar contributes to an output called an advanced glycation end product. It basically increases the oxidative damage across organs.
Right.
And
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And when that happens to collagen, again, that also undergoes accelerated breakdown. So it can contribute whatever it does to every other organ in terms of oxidative damage. And basically, let's say when you crystallize or caramelize sugar, you release a whole lot of advanced oxidation end products. Something similar also happens in the skin. It also happens in the body that contributes to faster aging. I love the happiness that sugar brings, right? When you have coffee with and without sugar.
Correct.
I mean, I've done many community challenges, and I always ask them, please give me allowance for morning coffee with sugar alone. I've always make that negotiation with my community when we go on sugar-free challenges, month-long sugar-free challenges. I definitely do know that there is a certain spike that happens that gives us that turns something on in the brain. But over a period of time, that again is an addiction response as well. So not just in terms of an actual biological process, but also in terms, both are biological, but also in terms, not just in terms of a physical process, but also in terms of a mental, emotional process. Sugar does a fair bit of harm overall. I'm hoping for studies to come up and say this much in moderation or something like that. We can stick to that.
Yeah.
Like now earlier they used to say this amount of alcohol is okay. Now the new data says no amount of alcohol is okay. Sugar is just, WHO has some small limits here or there, but I guess that is something that eventually may not be sustainable, at least after a certain age.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was just going to ask you about that age factor, because normally you see the kids, especially from age 1 to 10 and stuff. I mean, a lot of the kids are just hoarding sugar, right? It's much later where you get some senses and you're like, okay, let me now learn how to moderate it.
Access is more now, hopeful for the current generation. They're more into fitness, they're more into diet.
Exactly.
I hope they get more hooked on to sleep also. But I think they definitely, the knowledge about nutrition, which we never used to have back in the days.
Correct. It's
PT classes
far
used to be
higher.
cancelled for math class. Now I think physical activity is being prioritized.
Yeah.
I think a lot of youngsters know to put their meal together.
Yes,
Which I think is a great welcome challenge.
Yeah. They're definitely taking more care of themselves.
Yeah.
Which is
more
great.
than what we did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So prioritizing themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, let's address the big one. Do collagen supplements actually work for the skin?
They do. There's heavy evidence. A lot of studies have come out. A large body of evidence is available, especially in the last, maybe if you look at the last 10, 15 years. Review after review of large studies have come together. The latest one was about somewhere around 100 plus articles were reviewed, over 8,000 subjects. They collated the data. And I really like the terminology they used here, where they said it could be considered as a legitimate adjunct for anti-aging. Collagen was missing that legitimacy word. And I think putting it out there in a very large article, the authors have clearly, they've clarified it for the dermatology community as well as for everybody at large. Now, where does this skepticism come from? You can look at that question as, will collagen help your skin alone? If that is your question, then I'd be like, no, it doesn't help the skin alone. It helps everything. For example, when you sleep well, does it help your mood alone? No, it helps your heart also.
True.
Likewise, for collagen, when you take collagen when you increase collagen intake, it helps the skin. It also helps multiple other systems. It kind of helps prevent collagen breakdown related consequences. A person taking collagen, what do they want to see? They want to see real world outcomes.
Yeah.
And that is what these studies are after. If the studies are only going to say it increases peptide circulation in your body, I'll be with you. No clinical outcome, nothing big. But if you're thinking about, does it help pigmentation? In fact, there's a very, very nice body of work that talks about all of the dietary supplements that contribute to anti-aging. It came out as a very large review in 2025. They stated as collagen is the most promising supplement for managing skin pigmentation. And for Indian skin, which ages with pigmentation compared to wrinkles, I think this is a big deal.
Yeah.
So when you look at how do you know it really works? You look at the real world outcomes. Is there improvement in nail strength? Yes, there's data to prove that there is an improvement over there. Will that person also feel better? Will they have better muscle recovery? Probably they do. So the question is, do collagen supplements work for skin benefits? Yes, they do. Do collagen supplements work only for skin benefits? Are you saying it's only going to show up on the face? No, I don't. I'm saying it's going to show up everywhere. Collagen can help improve cognitive health. So for me, it's a great multitasking supplement. It's going to help me with certain menopausal symptoms. So I see that as a lifestyle supplement. I see for someone that's active, I see them as having better muscle recovery.
Yeah.
But do we have studies saying that there is an increase in connective tissue health? There's data for that also. So I think that question is sorted.
So do you then talk about what form is a better form? Like, because we've seen powder or we've consumed, right? In the powder form, there are pill forms, and then we talk about food. Right. Then people also say, no, I'll just take a lot of bone broth and maybe through that. Do you have a preference, or do you think different things work for different people? It also depends on absorption in the body. What's your take on
form? Makes such a big importance to how you consume collagen. Till I told you that I've been suggesting collagen supplements, prescribing them for close to 15 years plus. Earlier than that, I once was at a conference in Japan in 2009, and then what I saw there was collagen heavy discussions, lots of articles on collagen supplements, and they had decade-long data even before that. That was from gelatin, bone broth, but also that was the initial days of dipeptide, tripeptide, smaller molecules. All of that was coming in. Back then, it used to be 8,000 Daltons, 8 kDa would used to be the size of the molecules. Even with that, they were demonstrating results. So when I came back, I didn't have the product here. And I used to write the prescription in the prescription, I used to write the recipe for bone broth.
Oh.
I used to say, take the small fish, boil it for 20 minutes till it completely dissolves.
Wow.
Don't remove all of the the scales. Wash it thoroughly. It is a complicated process. Because if you were to eat an animal from its beak to its tail, then you get collagen. Collagen is in all of those things that we remove. So then I tell them, just boil the fish over and over and over. You can do a bone broth. It's absolutely okay if you want to do a bone broth, because we've all known bone broth can be very recuperative.
Actually,
Yeah.
yes.
So we've all done that. If someone wants to do that, absolutely okay. But if you have the energy, please do it. But the point is, if you have fish coming in from the coastal areas, you need to make sure it's mercury free.
Exactly.
And how much, the quantity that's required is fairly large. So how much do you do it? I'd say a good idea would be to say, wherever you can take it in diet, that day skip your collagen supplement, and wherever you can't, you do the collagen supplement. It's not, I don't think it's an or question, it could be an and question. Now coming to your question of what format works best. Pills are impractical for me. A pill can carry 500 milligrams or 0.5 grams. So the therapeutic or like the dose in which you see results, that's somewhere around 5 to 10 grams. You have to take 10 pills, which is just, and for each pill you will have its own paraphernalia of fillers.
Yeah.
Pills are completely out. And generally most pills available will use bovine collagen, not marine, because marine collagen stinks a little in pills. So they don't usually use it. I prefer collagen powders for the simple fact that that is the exact same format it's been research studied in.
Right.
So it's easier for us to, when we talk about extrapolating, how much do you get? Minus 31% collagen fragmentation, or reduces collagen fragmentation by X%, or shows hydration improvement by 30% in so many days. We are taking data points from studies that have shown this to be true in human subjects. And what format did they use? Most often than not, it's a collagen powder. So that is why it makes sense to just stick to whatever is research proven, because otherwise, how much do you extrapolate? What happens, especially the single shot, the liquid versions, the single shot forms.
Right. Yeah, I've seen
They have a bunch of preservatives, because when you add water, you have to add preservatives. And how much of preservatives? Because the more water, the more preservatives. So for every day, you're talking about a plastic capsule, a plastic container, and you're talking about a bunch of preservatives that you're putting in. And because you put marine collagen in water, it will start smelling a bit after a while. So you have to add a lot of flavors. Why? There's no first principles thinking over there. Why do so much?
Yeah, I've seen them in stores.
Yeah,
in
it's
other
simpler to
countries,
take. It's maybe a more convenient format. It's simpler to take a collagen powder if you will. If you wanted sachets, that's fine. If you want it in a powder, I mean, we prefer a powder format because sachets again are more convenient. But if you're taking it regularly, that's a lot of sachets going out in the planet. So for travel, yes.
I have the dabba with just the scoop. And would you then advise on exactly when to take it, and for like, is there a certain principle for absorption? Taking it
absorption if you have a high quality collagen, say for example, most of the absorption studies are done by the big industry leaders who basically give us the data on how many hours does it take. Within a few hours, you can see circulating dipeptides in the bloodstream. So you know that the absorption is done. For me, I think of it as a food supplement. I don't really see that there is a time that you should not take collagen. You can take it any time that you do want to. You can add it to your coffee. Just don't boil it. Once you've taken it off the stove, you can add it to your coffee. You can add it to any drink of your choice. You can just not to make it like one big step, but then do it on the go. So it feels, how do you take protein powder?
Add it to my shake.
The same thing. So it doesn't have to be. But if some studies have shown that taking up to say 20 grams, just like the higher dose, just before workout, like about 20-30 minutes before workout, increases the connective tissue health. There's data for this. And there's a study that shows that taking collagen supplements before bedtime, maybe not the caffeine version, but another version before bedtime, helps reduce the number of wake times that men had.
So this I'm going to try.
I generally take it before sleep.
Oh, I take it in the morning, like during my breakfast.
The coffee versions are very comfortable to take, or as a replacement, which you could just take it in the morning instead of coffee.
Oh, there's a coffee version.
Chosen carries a coffee version exactly.
Oh,
for this.
wow.
Just mix it in your coffee.
Yeah, it tastes exactly like.
So I can do it like a pre-workout. No,
with anything.
like maybe.
Yeah,
30
that's what. No,
minutes. Yeah.
you have it before workout.
Yeah.
because you have more alertness and all of this, so it's together. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know this version was even there.
And this doesn't need to be cycled, right? Like there's no point
You
in
don't
time
have
that you
to
have to stop it.
stop taking
Yeah.
collagen, but just the idea is also that mentally, if you feel like you've taken, for example, bone broth in the day, you don't have to do collagen supplement also.
Right.
Okay.
There's no harm in taking it long term, but then human body always likes complementarity. We ourselves carry 3 different grades primarily because they are different sources. Humans were meant to forage and have different types of protein as we were. So the idea is to have complementarity. So while a collagen supplement solves the problem by, I think Chosen has the widest range of marine collagen supplements in the country.
Oh, wow.
So then the idea would be to kind of move between the different variants also because you're getting complementarity. But it doesn't have to be stop this, start that. It doesn't have to be that way.
Ah, awesome. And in all of this, yeah.
No, I was just thinking of how you said they have the largest range.
We
Which
pick up
will
the
be
largest.
around-
We pick up research grade collagens from across the world, different grades of them. The reason is that I really want to be safe. So I look at stuff that's published, at least 4 to 5 real world large studies, and then a lot of mechanistic data behind that.
Yeah.
That is very important for us. And interestingly, we ourselves are finishing up with our the Indian data for comparing 5 grams versus 10 grams. We want to be
Right.
able to, because we also support doctors in dermatology clinics, we want to be able to provide suggestions as to which age group, how much. We found that the older age group did well on a higher dose. The younger age group was able to show results with pigmentation even at a lower dose. So that is coming on. We're very excited for it to get published and out.
But I think you have a lifetime customer here. I'm going to try all her.
Yeah, me too. I will. So what are these, like the different range that you spoke about?
Yeah.
If you could just explain that, I think it's going to help.
Different companies have their own patented extraction methods. If you look at it, fish collagen itself, I'm talking about fish collagen primarily. There are bovine, porcine sources, and if you think about it, each of them have their own patented extraction methods. The amount of times you process something also contributes to the overall safety profile, delivery profile. So then we go with companies, very large companies, the people that are the industry leaders in Europe and in APAC, for us to get the benefit of the technology. So we use these premium research grade collagens only because we know it's safe and we also know there's data. It's safe and effective. So we use Peptan collagen, we use Nita, we are now getting Verisol back again after a break. So we use only names that are tried, tested, trusted. You see these as different formats, and you see when you travel abroad, you'll see Peptan F, Peptan B, Peptan P. In India, we have cultural sensibility, so we only have Peptan F, which is fish. The B is bovine, P is porcine. You see, in the same manufacturer supplying with the same patented technology across the globe. But in India, we've brought them in here for our audience in marine collagen alone because of our cultural sensibilities and also because marine collagen has a very good play in for the skin.
Yeah.
Correct.
And also, like, for someone who's going to just start taking, for the first time, like, what's like a timeline that you would say before they can see some visible changes?
Data-wise, as early as 4 to 6 weeks.
I was thinking 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then when you start seeing something, but then most study endpoints have looked at 12 to 16 weeks. Personally, while we notice hydration is an endpoint that Westerners talk a lot about. But I'm from one of the most humid cities on the planet.
Yeah.
Which means that I will not appreciate hydration because it's always humid.
Correct.
So for me, the better result or the response that I want to look at is a skin reflectance or pigmentation. That may take a little longer, say 8 to 12 weeks or more. And generally what we also see is when you see the lift, firming, tightening effect, that typically takes about 12 to 16 weeks. So it depends upon what parameter we are looking at. For the West, it's a big deal to have hydration. Collagen also reduces skin redness and calms the skin.
Right.
So for them, those responses are earlier.
Markers.
Yeah.
what they would look at,
Yes.
right? Yeah, for us, I'm guessing
We've
pigmentation.
looked at pigmentation, but yes, like I said, it's just under publication, so we'd be out anytime now. So that talks about pigmentation as an early response in as early as 4 weeks. And we were
Early as 4
surprised.
weeks is like,
we were pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And with even the lower dose. So that's a paper that we are eagerly awaiting publication of.
Yeah.
So cool.
And we spoke about marine collagen and
Yes, we are going to go with marine because
yeah.
you.
Yeah, even I. Oh, what do you say?
I said marine.
What do you think?
I say marine.
Yeah. Let me go with marine as
don't
a
even know what's
concept.
right.
Only collagen was
Yeah.
different.
Right, yeah. Okay, so marine collagen.
Yeah.
And we spoke about different forms. What do vegetarians do in all of this?
There's a bunch of publications, articles that talk about how a vegetarian diet, a plant-based diet has better antioxidant potential. Newer study, but we have also had more studies. There's a new ray of hope that plant-based diets have reasonable anti-aging potential. But there's also the larger, older body of evidence which talks about how plant-based diets or purely vegetarian vegan diets, especially vegan diets, are associated with the faster aging and a faster loss of collagen. So this new study that's come out in 2026 seems like the ray of hope. So that's something that we are looking at to see what could be the composition of that diet. That said, vegan collagen could well be the thing in the next 8 to 10 years. Why I say not in the first 1 or 2 years, even though you will see some of them in the market, we don't have long-term data. And these are also signaling molecules. They call to the fibroblasts. So these are also signaling molecules. And the safety of marine collagen is that the species has subsisted on fish for millennia. So we know this and we are safe. But when we don't know and it's a relatively newer molecule, a relatively newer offering, I would wait for longer data on follow-up, see how if there's no issues with health before I get onto this vegan collagen bandwagon. And the irony is that at least several forms have come and gone. Several forms have not sustained. So I'm always stumped by why did it go away?
Yeah.
So if there's something that is there, I would like for it to be around for a while before we really think that this is the next big thing.
Exactly.
There is hope, but I think it's going to take us some judicious, holding back to before we think, okay, let's just get on. Because supplements like these have to be, I'm okay if it's a one-time thing. I'm okay if somebody's going to take it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
But this is a long-term thing, a long-term commitment. So some data is warranted.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
When you're putting something inside your body, it needs to be backed by science.
Long enough. And you're doing it long enough. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you mentioned about that recipe thing, right? The fish thing. What fish did you use?
Matti fish.
I was just thinking about it. I'm like, you said small fish, so I'm like, this has to be matti.
Nettali, matti, the anchovies, the small ones.
The anchovy. Yeah. Those are delicious any which ways, but okay. I'm going to try this.
That's a good recipe. I mean, back in the days, I remember you have to get, because of the slow cooking that has to be done, I used to tell them, get earthenware.
Earthenware, yeah.
And then I used to give them the whole 9 yards. In the prescription be like, here is a soup recipe. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please share your recipe.
Is it available somewhere?
I'll fish it out from somewhere.
I
could recommend the collagen powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do both.
Let's do both.
Let's give people the option of
Let's do both.
getting the collagen powder, which I will do first.
But I think it's an and question. Yes, let's do both.
Question, exactly.
Yep.
I can mix and match.
Yeah, that should be a part of the cheat sheet.
That's what I said. I mean, like, we should put this in the cheat sheet, and
So we generally make
people may buy it whenever, or they can even try. Fish eaters can even try.
Yeah.
Which is why I asked what fish
yeah.
we should.
But have the collagen. But have it.
Yes.
Like it should not be a shopping list. Like I will go and get the fish and do this and let every day pass by.
By, correct.
Yeah, of course.
The easier one is to just get the product.
Yeah, correct.
It's just like if you want to not eat junk, then you stock your pantry with the good stuff.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you don't want to, postpone a decision about healthy eating, you stock it up in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Accessibility.
Yeah. You were talking about this particular serum when we were having this last conversation. The serum that helped.
Yeah.
somebody with a double chin, and you had like photographs to show both of us.
I think there's a study on your own, on
Yeah,
Chosen's
yeah, yeah.
own serum, which reduced
Correct,
double
correct.
chin.
Yeah,
So
please. Yeah.
it started with the community. It started with the clinic community where we were seeing a sudden increase in about maybe in the last 10 years for people asking for lower face contouring. Then we looked at the global trends and we found that non-invasive lower face sculpting had really taken off. Now, what was the thing about non-invasive is you use devices to give you the sculpting, which means that you have to keep coming in for any number of sessions. But without without something in between, we found that it was building up to a point where the growth was much higher than many other procedures that we had seen, like even laser toning. This was growing faster than a skin brightening procedure. So we were very curious as to why this was happening. Now, when you look at it mechanistically, and also because we were seeing this happening in younger individuals, we had never before seen this many double chin concerns in teens, for example.
Wow.
And early 20s, for example. Then we had to look back and see what is the human race doing differently as compared to what we were doing in the last 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
It's all of us on the gadget all the time. And sometimes even when you're traveling, even when you are, even when you're reading, it's almost here. And our devices are here. Maybe if you're really conscious, you would put it on a standing desk and you're walking away. But even if you have to take notes, you have to look here. And we've been more and more, we've been doing this at an accelerated, unprecedented rate since COVID.
Yeah.
Where everything's become digital, for example, even if you want to connect. So we thought that all of this is contributing. All children transitioned to a digital mode almost abruptly in COVID.
True.
And then we see that with social media, the constant attachment to gadgets, and we can't even tell them to stay off it because schoolwork is there. So then we were looking at it, and let's say we identify there's a load. There's a load bearing that happens, which changes the way the posture was contributing to double chin.
Right.
If this is going to be long term, then the fix has to be easy. It can't be a fix that happens when you have to go to the clinic for it, or only when you go to the clinic for it. And the alternative for it. Okay, now we're thinking about in-clinic devices can do a very good job of it. What are the kind of treatments? You either had comfortable treatments like radiofrequency, slightly more painful treatments like HIFU, or you had injectables like thread lift, which is a lot of needles, or you had injection lipolysis, which is injections to dissolve the fat, or you had cryo to basically freeze the fat, which is a very uncomfortable procedure with no follow through. So we decided to understand that, okay, here are the things that people are doing, but what can we do at home to help them kind of get better results? This was the pre-work done, and then we identified a prototype which helped reduce double chin with application alone.
Right.
And then we built out the equivalent for doctors to use in clinic also, and then something for people to pick it up and use it over the counter as well. And that's the story of Sculpt. It's the first and only jaw sculpting or the lower face sculpting serum, and the only one published in Indian women.
Wow. What's the serum called?
It's called Sculpt Serum.
Sculpt serum.
Sculpt Serum from Chosen. We decided to be very literal about it because we were very happy with the outcomes.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the outcome. You know what it can do for real. I mean, you might as well just...
Yeah, it was fascinating to see that paper. It was fascinating to see what it did.
Correct.
Quite cool.
Very cool. Non-invasive and how.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
a different way to solve a problem. That's one of the things that we constantly keep learning from the community, where they're like, okay, we can solve it this way, and they will be like, try something else. So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you meet a lot of people, since you meet a lot of people, do you meet a lot of them getting into procedures like HIFU or Botox?
Yeah. Yes.
I think just the Botox and HIFU is becoming like every other day, either for this area or this area or this area or some area, or even this area,
That area is so difficult to look as stoned as you are.
I just think it's 10 years of work. That's all showing now.
You're starting. No, I think again it's an and question. It's an and question where I strongly believe that there are certain areas where topicals won't give a result. If you want to slim the jawline over here, it has to be Botox or botulinum toxin. If you want to do something around, say, an eyebrow lift, again, you have an injectable. But if you really want to lift up this entire zone, tighten the skin, RF works really, really well. I'm a
RF, sorry?
radio frequency. I'm biased towards radio frequency over ultrasound because I feel radio frequency gives more even results. As an energy type, laser is light, radio frequency is radio frequency energy. So HIFU is ultrasound. So there are different energy methodologies that we employ for sculpting or lifting the tissues of the face.
Yeah.
So for me, there's never a or question. My protocol for lower face would be a combination of radio frequency treatments in clinic. If there's a wider jawline, then botulinum to slim the masseter, and then sculpt to lift and tuck. Sculpt serum to lift and tuck.
The serum, yeah.
I would use a combination because that's the beauty. There's a lot of artistry involved in deciding how much wear. That I think is still a very good play with the dermatologist. But there's also taking home the dermatologist, which the sculpt serum does.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I almost literally said taking home the top.
Yeah, in the form of a serum, yes, of course.
Yeah. No, interesting. Honestly, my skincare routine sucks. In general, I'm telling you, as a dermatologist, I do nothing.
We go outcome based.
But yeah.
If you look good, then your skincare routine is fine. It doesn't matter if it's your parents that's gifted you a great genetic background.
Yeah.
But if it looks good and if it looks comfortable for you, I don't think there is an Indian benchmark yet. To be honest, there is a skin longevity index that's coming up. We talked about lifespan initially. When did we talk about lifespan? When we spoke about, say, 40, 50 years back, the conversation was about infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, life expectancy. We were talking about how do we keep our people healthy and alive? How do we keep our people alive for longer?
Yeah.
Then now we've come to health span. How do we keep our people healthy for longer?
Yeah.
Now we have skin span. How does the skin reflect this need for looking younger for longer? So the conversation has shifted, and for me, it would never be an either or question. It would always be an and question, as long as it fits in with your sensibilities. And you should never feel pressurized to think that, or it doesn't have to be 10 products if you are
Correct.
showing the result with 2 products.
Correct. I fully agree.
In fact, the more the number of products, the higher the exposure to allergens. And studies have found that the more products you put in, the higher the rates of long-term, the higher the risk for carcinogenesis. So you really need to play it minimal. So I would say a skincare routine sucks if it's on the wrong principle. But if it's on first principles and you are fine, and I think you're fine. There doesn't need to be anxiety over routines.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think my perspective really is because, we're so conscious about our physical health, our mental health and all of that, right? Like we work out so much, we try to stress less and all of that. Skin health is not something that is top of my mind.
But
right?
You're working out.
Correct.
You're putting amazing numbers of molecules that are going to go and repair a bunch of things. So that's absolutely, you're doing a good job by keeping your fat percentage low. I'm sure you're doing a good dietary routine. Your sugar is low. Skin is happy. We are fine. The blocks are this way. Sleep. I think I would definitely give sleep the first place. For longevity. Then I would say diet and exercise are equal. Diet because the impact is so much more higher, and exercise because it's a very refined way of looking after yourself. I think the benefits spill over to every other domain in life overall. And then comes the care package, which will include nutraceuticals, cosmeceuticals, topical agents. What you put inside the body, we call it beauty from within or inside out approach. And then you have applications out here, which is outside in. And then you have an expert opinion wherever that is required. I wouldn't judge on any of these. If somebody is good with A, B or C, or A and B and C, I think it still works. But shall we not sleep and then do a lot of this? And that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yes, agree 100%.
And when people come
in all aspects,
in the clinic, when clients are there, is there anyone recommending them exercise if they're not doing, or improve their sleep hygiene if they're not?
100%. Sleep hygiene is in the like my soup, like my fish soup.
Yeah.
Sleep is 100% there. A dietary recommendation is 100% there.
Talk a little bit about sunscreen.
Yeah.
Because that's also something that a lot of people are now actively using because it's been spoken about so much, right? But again, you know, the type of sunscreen is so much just available, so many products for skin available. That itself is a hard decision to make. I was just telling him earlier, looking at chosen products, and I'm like, there's just so much in the market. Like you go on an app and you find like 10 different products for the same thing. And it's such a hard decision.
Yeah.
For a lot of people like us who don't know much about it.
Yeah. Now, I think sunscreens can be pretty baffling if you are going to go at them without a framework in mind.
Yeah.
We all know sunscreens work. At this point, we know that it works very well for Indian skin. Now, we have to look at what is a framework that will help me choose a good sunscreen. Specs wise, anything above 30 is okay for me. SPF 30 and above is totally okay for me. SPF talks about UVB protection. It's very important for the Westerners who have skin cancer risk. For us, the SPF is something where sunscreen started, and it's good to have anything more than 30.
Okay.
Yeah. The second part would be the UVA protection, which plays a much bigger role in pigmentation for our skin type, which usually is marked as pluses. Anything above 4+ works.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I'll come to it in a bit as to why it's not such a great idea to keep chasing after higher numbers. I'll come to that in a bit. But then SPF 30, PA 4+, we are coming to the UV spectrum. We are done with this. Then comes the visible light spectrum. This you should see on the sunscreen as protects against visible. The number will be indicated there. X amount of protection against visible light. You'll also see one wavelength mentioned there. It will be more than 370 nanometers. You need to look at that. So we have covered UVB, UVA. We are now in visible light. It's important to see that it protects. That there's something mentioned about the visible light protection,
Right.
which includes blue light also.
Right.
Then you go across to a place called infrared. This is where newer data is recognizing that all of the exposure to heat, thanks to global warming and whatnot, has actually increased the rate at which skin ages. And you will need to see some antioxidants or tinted sunscreens or anything that can actually protect against visible light infrared spectrum. You need to look at and look for this particular number specifically mentioned over there. Now our framework is, this is specs. We're done with the specs. Now coming to the second part, which talks about this is efficacy. Now we are coming to the second part, which talks about safety. It's great to have sunscreen, but it's not okay to have long-term harm in the name of skin protection.
Okay.
So now you take away the filter again, from everything else and focus on what goes into the body, right? Sunscreens are not meant to be absorbed the way they are. That's because when they evolved, like anything else that evolved, they were much smaller. They would slip into the bloodstream. Now we have enough data to show that when they do that, they interact with multiple hormone receptors and create problems.
Wow.
So we have to move away from the older filters to the newer filters. And as of now, humbly proud to say that Chosen works only with filters that have been FDA cleared as, they have a category called GRASE, generally recognized as safe and effective. We work exclusively with those filters because we really take this absorption question very, very seriously. And currently, we've built out the only sunscreen, to my knowledge, and to the latest ChatGPT or AI checks. We do them every week. The only sunscreen that is made exclusively out of bimotrosynol, the filter that the US FDA cleared just now.
Yeah.
The reason we went with something like this is, yes, this alone has the absorption data saying that if I'm telling you, use the sunscreen, you should not have any long-term consequences. You should not have long-term consequences. I cannot package this with X amount of other ingredients and say that, I also have a safe filter. So the second lens is completely around absorption. How much does your sunscreen get absorbed into your skin? You need to be very, very, very clear about this because again, like what we put into our body, we are going to do this for 20 years.
Yeah.
We're going to do this for 10 years. Every day.
Every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then the advantage is also that which does not get absorbed doesn't easily need reapplication. But that's a conversation for a different day because there is a lot of back and forth on this as well. But then when something doesn't get absorbed, it basically tends to sit on the surface and protect you for longer. We call them durable sunscreens.
Got it.
This is the second part, where absorption, application comfort, how often can you realistically reapply, all of those are built here. Then comes to the third part, what do you really put out into the environment? When you put out a sunscreen which has impact on hormonal receptors, on hormones, on ecosystems, not just for you but also for the planet, just how much is acceptable? Because there are better alternatives available. So you operate from these three lenses. It is no longer okay to just look at numbers. It is important to see, I'm doing this to myself, I'm paying for this, I'm doing this to myself. Am I safe in the long term? And if there's any thought process about longevity, we live as long as the planet is around. So if the human race has to continue, even if you think about it altruistically or otherwise, the substrate has to be around. So therefore, there is a limit on how much you can throw into the environment. And therefore, the lens has to shift from only this.
Got it.
Now I'll tell you why it's not a great idea to chase the numbers. When the SPF numbers started increasing in the West, 40, 50, 60, 70, all the way up to 100, 100 plus and all is available. What people did was they spent longer and longer in the sun thinking that it will protect them for longer. What they really found that it actually doesn't really help, because the thought process is that when you chase numbers, the marginal protection from 93 to 95 to 96% is not a lot. You still have to be mindful of the time that is spent outdoors. And the same thing goes for PA factor also. When you chase the number, especially when it goes past 30, either the formulation pH shifts or there is discomfort in terms of white cast. We'll have to, there is a limit to chasing all of these. We know for Indian skin this works. Where is the story going to be for the next 10 years? Visible light, infrared. It may well be the day that we walk around with hand fans. Also as a method of protecting collagen.
Already, that's happening.
Already. I know, especially with these kids, I can see them walking around. But then also another question that came to my mind is the application itself, right? Like, do you always have to apply it after a moisturizer, or does it, do you have
it depends upon the sunscreen.
Exactly.
At a very simple level, if it is mineral filters, tinted filters, you may need a moisturizer. Just like how before makeup you apply a moisturizer.
Correct.
Because anything that carries heavy mineral load will feel a little dry after a point in time. So it's always good to apply a moisturizer. Wait for about 10-15 minutes and then go ahead. But if you are going to go swimming, you don't apply a moisturizer. You go with the sunscreen first. The moisturizer layer may cause a little bit of slip. There's published data around it that makes you less water resistant. That makes your sunscreen less water resistant. The practical tip I offer is to apply your sunscreen in 2 layers.
What does that mean?
You apply it first and then you take your application, whatever quantity you're supposed to apply, split it into 2 parts, apply first, wait a little and then reapply. Data shows that this has more longevity and durability.
Makes sense. That's a great tip. Do you also have products for kids?
All of our sunscreens, because they are default built only on the FDA approved filters. They are safe for babies above 6 months of age, pregnancy, nursing, the entire spectrum of vulnerable age groups. The less than 6 months sunscreens are not recommended. The babies are supposed to be kept in the shade.
Of course.
But more than 6 months, safe for all.
I was getting that information for our kids and of course all our listeners' kids, because there are so many products, right, for kids.
You still need to run them. You still need to run them by the checklist, because you'll find that they will have one safe filter and a bunch of other unknown filters or unproven filters. Sunscreen filters have to be. They have this protocol called the must study, where they apply it maximally. And then check how much of it is absorbed into the bloodstream. Till date, bimotrazonol is the only chemical filter to have passed this. And that's why we chose to build only with that. If there is another one that's coming up, we will jump ship.
Correct.
Or add that to the
until then I'll only use Chosen. For my daughter also.
Exactly.
Long-term use, better to be safe.
Absolutely. Very cool.
How old is your little one?
Mine is 6 and his is 4.
Okay. I generally say if you have a lot of outdoor exposure, that's when you really start sunscreens early on.
They do.
Otherwise, you really don't need to. For school, you don't need to.
I don't put it on every day. It's like usually when she's going to the pool or you're out on some holiday or whatever.
We don't have data yet. about regular everyday application.
Fair.
So we probably can protect them from extremes. I think that should still work.
Yeah.
Even though my son's pediatrician said that use it every day.
Yeah.
And like proactively.
Proactively. Yeah. They are all saying use it proactively.
But
Also,
we don't have data. We don't have data at this point to say that the long-term exposure provides you benefits over risks. Because they're going to be taking it for 6. See, all of the data that we have on sunscreens is on cumulative toxicity. Like you have to use it long enough. So my recommendation is physical protection wherever possible. I wouldn't say like everywhere.
Yeah.
Just physical protection wherever possible. For the areas that can't be covered, then a sunscreen makes sense. A denim jacket gives you a very high SPF. 2000 SPF. Wow. Of course, the face still has to be covered with sunscreen.
Face has to be covered. Yeah.
Let's talk about your book.
I think we put together close to 1 lakh articles, then filtered out 10,000 articles that were worth really, that made relevance, and then 1,000 of them went into the book. I've been writing this for a very long time now.
Wow.
And it came out in 2024. I started the project with, start, stop kind of a way. But somewhere in, I think 2021, when the absorption tests started coming out, like they found that many sunscreens were getting absorbed into the body at very, very high levels. Then we ran a test amongst our team. And all of us who were using those older filters, once a day, only over the face, 4 of us, we tested ourselves. And we found our blood levels to carry much higher levels than the approved threshold. And we had done about 4 to 6 weeks of testing. We had done a washout time. And then we did a 4 to 6 weeks application. With just that application, the levels were high. That's when we decided to kind of start working on sunscreens, as a modality. And I started out with a book, 21, 22, 23, 24, and it came out in 24. It's now a postgraduate reference textbook for dermatologists.
Oh, wow.
So it's an international edition. It says Sunscreens for Skin of Color.
Yeah.
The focus is mostly around how we are very different. We are happy that we have been now invited to sit at the table. We didn't have any skin of color research for a long period of time.
Yeah,
and the focus for us is pigmentation. We don't age. For us to really have wrinkles, for us to have the kind of textural, crinkly changes, it takes a really long period of time and it requires extraordinary sun exposure.
Correct, yeah. I mean,
for us,
our mothers and grandmothers still not having excessive wrinkles. Like I see my 100-year-old grandmother just a little bit here and a little bit there, and that's about it. It's very supple and nice.
Yeah. You mostly see a lot more pigmentation depending on exposure.
Yeah.
And now because of pollution plus UV equal to more pigmentation. Again, it's an exposome factor. And that is why sunscreens have come to be a necessity for us. So the approach is a lot around what it means for our skin type. And that's why I do take a call on whether, do I see if children, do babies 1-year-olds, do they need it every day when they go to mom and me classes or, I think it's just to cover them, bring them back. I think that's fine. I don't have data to tell you that such long-term exposure is cumulatively okay. I'd say when they're out and about and when you see them actually going, when you see them actually going out in the sun, that's a good place to start. And we also carry the highest number of sunlight allergies even among children. That's a very good reason to start early. Maybe if a pediatrician said that, they may have identified something
may have
to
seen
start.
something. Yeah.
Very interesting. No, in the school my daughter goes to, they're predominantly outdoors.
So then
they
I
have
guess
a very play-based concept of learning. So they're
out in the
outdoors.
sun.
Yeah, out.
Then outdoor exposure, sports, swimming, all of that requires. But then
Some amount.
schools which have air-conditioned classrooms.
Yeah. What's your training like?
What's
your workout like?
Okay. Now I feel very much put on the spot. I've been winging it a little. I used to work out fairly regularly up until December. Now I was traveling quite a bit for that. So I do inclined walks on the treadmill on my own.
Yeah.
I do a lot of Instagram workouts.
Quick short bursts.
Which is 20 minutes. I just somehow get up to some 12, 13, 14 on my whoop. I just do some, I do brick walks. I really like brick walks that you can place to walk. I do that. And I do a bunch of I do a bunch of band-based exercises.
Yeah.
I have officially signed up in the last 2 days for an online coaching because I felt, okay, muscle has to come back. But when I want to work out every day, so I do all these kinds of activities in hotel rooms when I'm traveling.
Yeah,
All
traveling
of that. I carry a band. There are bands everywhere, in clinic, at home, everywhere. I just do all my workouts at random. So I don't think I make good content for this segment of what do you do?
No, but if I ask you, what are your like top 3 or 5 go-to foods that can really be good for skin? What I know you'll say water, but
So there's good data about the stuff that you have to take. We'll divide it into foods and supplements.
okay,
Yeah.
What you need to take in diet would be all your bell peppers, all the colors. Bell peppers are great. They reduce skin sensitivity. Then you talk about carrots, of course, again, the same group. Then you talk about broccoli, cruciferous vegetables. Then you talk about tomatoes. There's also, I can share a whole list of how can you, in fact, these all contribute to UV protection. So
Wow.
we came out with a booklet called "Can You Eat Your Sunscreen?"
Oh wow!
And this talks about how much vegetables to have, how often, what portion sizes and stuff. So all kinds of leafy greens are part of this. Spinach, the works. I think this alone gives you the antioxidant benefit in a big way. Then you also have your avocado, the standard, somewhere between an antioxidant and a macro group, but also providing good fat. That is important. Then we talk about fish, any kind of protein, eggs as a reference food. All of this have some amount of anti-aging benefits, primarily because if you are protein deficient, you really can't talk about long-term health. Protein excess, I'm midway there, maybe about 1 gram per kg body weight. I know when you train, you need a little bit more. I'm at this 1 gram per kg body weight because there's also split data on what happens when you have a lot of protein consumption. So I would, and for my clientele, typically it is this anti-aging, this kind of works. So I think we've covered all kinds of berries. I forgot berries. All kinds of berries.
Antioxidant.
Even the amla part works. So antioxidants are basically, you have any kind of free radical from the sun, from pollution. Antioxidants are the fellows that say, like, instead of, the free radical wants to take the electron from us, but the antioxidant says, here, take mine. So that the body can keep the reserves. So that definitely is, all kinds of berries works. I also like nuts in that group because they provide the kind of, almonds are great. Almonds are very good. Then you go across to the supplements. We'll draw some from this group of foods. But then if you think about supplements, for skin hydration, for skin elasticity, you have all your lipids, which is basically your olive oil, avocado again, chia seeds, walnuts, all of this come together. Even cooking oils help to some extent. Then you talk about another group, which is polyphenols. All of your, again, berries will cross over here. The grapes and the group here. We use oral antioxidant. Chosen introduced an oral antioxidant called pycnogenol, pine bark extract, patented pine bark extract, which is also one of the important, which is a very high quality polyphenol over here. Proanthocyanidins over here. Then we talk about, those are to be taken as supplements, especially somebody did a very good paper. If you have to have enough resveratrol in diet, you have to have barrels of wine. So it doesn't, you really need these high quality antioxidants in a supplement form only. Otherwise, you just have to consume rooms and rooms of grapes. So that is it's a very good imagery as to how much you have to have if you want to get that number over there. And other supplements which have research base would be, again, collagen is the most studied anti-aging supplement. And I would say 5 to 10 grams start for about 3 to 4 months, then maintain with 5 grams for as long as you want to. Protein supplements. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much the supplement group. And in here,
I think we'll put this in the cheat sheet for sure.
Probiotics and prebiotics. Or fermented foods.
For people to...
We could give you the booklet.
The,
Okay.
Like,
very
we can put
simple
that
way
in
of-
the- like a PDF format or something.
Yes,
The-
it's,
you're
it's
talking about
both
the-
physical and PDF.
can you eat your
Eat your
sunscreen booklet
sunscreen,
or?
yes.
I can give you the Can You Eat Sunscreen
Yeah.
booklet.
Yeah, we should.
We call it the Chosen Wisdom magazine. We'll send the book.
Yeah, we can put that in the description,
description,
of the
yeah.
podcast, so people can click on it and
Yeah.
download it and
Sure.
use it. But this was amazing.
Yeah.
Like so informative.
Enjoy the chat.
Learned a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.